Hello everyone, it is the build-up show, Liverpool versus Watford. It's the early kick-off this Saturday, another grim test for anyone, fighting a Christmas night out hangover, but, so be it. It's another big test for the fans, it's another big test for the mighty Reds on the way to, hopefully what we all need, and that is the big number 19. I'm joined by Ross Chanley, by John Machin and by Jack Gill for this one. Let's dive straight in, Ross. Lovren's probably out. Basically, there's a segment of the show in the build-up to Salzburg where we did this. And we said,
copy and paste.
Yeah, exactly. Lovren's probably out because he went off in the game, means that it's a big opportunity for Joe Gomez.
Possibly, yeah. I think Klopp said after the game, I was either last night or this morning, that it seems the same as the Bournemouth stuff the weekend, but watching it looked different, it looked a lot more serious, so were they trying to cover his back or something there, or keep his cards close to his chest, I don't know. But having said that, we talk about rotation of midfield in the front three. There hasn't been that much in defence. I know Gomez started at right back against Bournemouth, but it feels like, why go and aggravate Lovren's injury? If it's happened 2 games in a row, just go and start him against Watford at the weekend and give him a run at centre-back as well, because I feel sorry for him at times. Like, again, Bournemouth, shoved in a right back, he doesn't want to play there. He's not his best position.
What was that stat? Was it you told me about, like, the Lovren's never played 7 games? Is it 7 games back to back or something like that? Do you reckon he knows that? And he's just like, fine, put me back in, boss. Put me back in. I've got some hoodoo to break. And it's just like, no,
maybe it's the other way around.
Yeah.
That he actually isn't injured, but he thought, I've had 7. That's enough for me.
Can't do any more than 7.
My mother told me never to play more than 7 games on the bounce.
But Bournemouth was a concerning one, because he had cramp. Yeah. Like, he went down at the same time as Nathan Ake, who obviously did his hamstring. But, like, in the first half of a game, you got cramp as a professional footballer. That's concerning for me. And I think it was at Wolves away at the Cup last year. We didn't warm up properly and then he got injured. It's like, it's frustrating.
Just didn't fancy playing, that's all it was. That was a bit cold.
Like the weather.
I mean, to be honest, if I had to play Lovren at any time in the season for any game, I would play him against Watford. Yeah. The one time I won him on the pitch and he's not fit.
Yeah, well, I think it's been a really good spell of games for him. I think in terms of his form, I think everyone he's come against, he's been great. But I said this about the Salzburg game, Jack. I thought it was going to be a physical contest, with Haaland up there, and I thought it was the perfect game for him. And I think the same is true for Watford. But I remember the conversation about Gomez at the start of last season when he started at centre half, and it was, how's he going to handle this? And he came up in that first 5 or 6 games of the season. He came up against every different type of centre forward, and he ended up handling them impeccably. We've not been able to see that Gomez so far this season. So as much as look at the minute, I think Lovren's rightly ahead of him in the pecking order. If he's not available for it, then it's now on Joe Gomez to step up, and more importantly, step up and stay injury free. Because if he gets an injury, I think we'll be able to cope in the short term, but that would be a big concern for us.
I think all Joe Gomez needs is a run of games at centre back. I think, like Ross says, I think we keep playing him right back, then shuffling him across to centre back. I don't think he's comfortable with that. I think he just needs a run of games in the same position, and then all will be fine. We've seen last season he is a very, very, very good centre half, and last season he looked like he was going to build one of the best centre half partnerships in the world with Van Dijk. And I mean, it's never a worry when Joe Gomez gets put centre back for me. And as you say, I'd rather, whether Lovren's injury is serious or not, he's rested at the weekend purely because we've got a big run of games coming up. And as I say, if we go to Qatar with 2 fit centre halves, then that's a worry for me.
Gomez was sound against Bournemouth when he went to centre back, and again he was saying about playing right back. The other time he played centre half was against Arsenal, surrounded by 4 kids who he's never played with before, so like, that's not fair on him to judge him on that performance and see 5 goals.
He's definitely a centre half, isn't he?
Yeah.
And I think we showed the other week when we played him at right back that he's not a Liverpool right back. Yeah. He could play right back for anyone, but not for Liverpool. Yeah. He is a centre back, and I personally think he's our second best centre back. And I just think he needs to.
The issue he's got, Dad, and he's fallen foul of, and there's a number of players who've fallen, by the way, said in this way, that the senior lads have all stepped up. Like, Dejan Lovren stepped up to the plate, Matip stepped up big time, and Gomez, as a young lad who probably should be better this season. I know he had a long time out last season with injury and what have you, but he should be the one where his ceiling should be higher than both of those lads. But we've seen it again. It's the reason why Naby Keita, again, injuries notwithstanding, but like Wijnaldum's gone up a level, Henderson's gone up a level. We're seeing it from the lads in the front three. They've seen a little bit of pressure. They've seen lads coming in and gone, well, no, fuck you. I'm going to double down. I'm going to make myself the best I can be.
Perfect case, isn't he? You know, he went from someone who everyone thought, why the hell did we buy him, to being, my God, he's brilliant. He
started last season. He was our fourth choice centre half when that season started, and he ended. And with many people, and this is, I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that he was in better form than Virgil van Dijk at the back end of the season. So yeah, again, but this is the environment that Klopp's created, Ross, where if you want to succeed, he gives you the opportunity and he gives you all the tools to succeed, but you've got to be the one who walks across the threshold. You've got to be the one that puffs your chest up and grabs the opportunity with both hands. And you know, that's where it is. I can't bring myself to be worried or concerned about it, because I just trust there's just so much body of evidence now, not just with Gomez, but with everyone in that squad, that he probably will just come in and take his opportunity.
Yeah, no, I think he'll be fine. I think Jack's right. It's consistency that he needs, and a consistent run of games that he needs. I think for him to grow confidence and be settled in the squad is fine. But also, he probably recognises everything you just mentioned there. Of, you know, if two of them are injured, well, if I don't take this chance, you know, when am I going to take it? So, you know, I think he'll be fine against Watford.
Yeah. Another new manager for Watford. Nigel Pearson in charge, the new manager bounce potentially a thing?
Well, it certainly makes it a more interesting game because of it. He's clearly got a reputation for organising people, and I think he got Leicester into the position where they were then taken on to win the title. So he's got something, although he's not done a lot since he left Leicester, I don't think. Yeah. But if nothing, he will give them a bit of fight back. And Watford, if nothing, are fighters, aren't they?
Yeah. The big note of encouragement on this one, Jack, we've won our last 3 at Anfield against them by 5 clear goals, 5-0, 5-0, 6-1. We have enjoyed playing Watford immeasurably.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past us to do it again as well. I mean, we're on such good form. We'll be buoyed from last night. The only problem is, obviously, they've got that new manager, and I think Quique Sanchez-Flores, I think his first game for Watford this season was when they got spanked 9-0 by City. So I think Pearson will be desperate not to follow the same trend, and I think that they'll probably be boosted. They have to be boosted by Pearson.
Well, they can't be much worse, can they?
Well,
I think that's the
exactly.
that's the point there. They need a reaction at some point. I mean, it's just whether they see us as a bit of a free hit. New manager coming in, all he gets them to do a bit like what Duncan Ferguson did against in the Everton-Chelsea game. Go out there, go and play for the shirt. We don't expect you to win, but what I want you to do is go out and get in Liverpool's faces.
The thing is with Watford as well is they have very good players in terms of their squad and stuff. They probably shouldn't be at the bottom of the league. They have players who are very, very good, and they shouldn't be there, but it's like you say, that they do need that passion. That's what they're lacking at the minute. They're missing Troy Deeney greatly. Yeah,
it's telling that their top goal scorers are Deulofeu and Gray, who've scored 2 in the league so far this season.
That's depressing, isn't it?
But it is weird. It is weird.
Have they won a game yet?
They've won
one.
Yeah, they beat Norwich.
Oh yeah, they beat Norwich.
They beat Norwich 2-0, and that's their only win of the season. They've had 6 draws other than that. So
I mean, the fear for me will be that all those players know there's a transfer window coming up in January, and they've got a new manager who will almost certainly be promised something that he could bring in. So,
the flip of that is, you try to save yourself, so you might be playing for the move, and you might be saying, well, you know,
either way, they may raise their game somewhat. So,
Liverpool are the last team that they're going to want, though. I mean, the confidence will be on the floor, won't it? It's all right having a new manager, and you've got to adapt to his system or what he wants. You can't just go out there and go, just play.
No, I know, but you know, you're right, and Liverpool should win regardless. But the point is that they all, again, this is what I say about the notion of a free hit. There is no expectation on them, and when there's no expectation on them, you get to forget for a game that you're bottom of the league. Because you're playing top of the league, you're playing the European Champions, you just get to go to Anfield and try and show it.
A bit more effort and passion into it, like Everton did. Everton was like 70% passion last week.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what Ferguson gave them, and that's what hopefully for Watford they'll do the same. But I mean, I still don't think they'll have anything like enough to. I think we're only talking about will we score another 5, or is it are they going to limit us to 3?
No, well, that's. I mean, it's not. I just don't think it's arrogance or whatever. It's just to say for us to speak like that. You know, they've got 9 points so far this season, Jack. We're top of the table.
I have a feeling they're going to come to Anfield.
We're almost further clear top of the table than they've accrued points at the total.
Which is ridiculous. But I think they'll come to Anfield and just sit back 10 men behind the ball, try and hit us on the counter, because that's the calibre of players they got. I wouldn't be surprised if they play Delafeu through the middle and play like that. I think they'll be quite negative against us personally, and I think if we get an early goal, then it could be a massive win for us.
It feels like it might be one of those that's damaged the rotation for them. Like it's all right having the fight for 10-15 minutes, but it go behind. But the mentality and where they are in the league, does that all go out the window then?
100%. The first half it's a 45-minute game of football for me. This, I think, if Liverpool just go out, they'll have that. I think that we will see a spirited response from Watford, because why not? I just can't. If they don't, then what was the point? What was the point of changing the manager? What's the fucking point? They may as well just pack up and go home now. But I think they'll come and try and get in our faces. They'll just be a little bit snappier into the tackles, all that kind of stuff. But if we then are able to take, let them, I just let them land their biggest blow, and do that thing where you just kind of like, brush it off and then count it. If we can just get a couple of goals up in the first half, I mean, I know Everton gave a bit more of a spirited response against us, but it was kind of that thing. They don't expect to win this. So all you just need to do is get in their heads and just let them go. Let them realise that there's more important fights to come. And this was what it was. It becomes not a free hit like spirited fun. It becomes, all right, Sam, well, we've had our go. We knew we weren't getting anything from this. Let's switch to damage limitation mode. We'll talk about preferred 11s and who we think should be starting in this Liverpool team in a moment. But I was lucky enough to sit down with Liverpool legend, centre forward Emile Heskey in the studio last week. A fantastic and wide-ranging interview. But here's a little clip from that. Again, talking to the FA Cup final, it's your first FA Cup final of the time. That's one that always holds.
That's the biggest one, isn't it? The FA Cup final. The FA Cup is the one that, as a kid, you watch on television, don't you? So, and you see everyone winning the giant killers and all that, and then you watch the final and everything. To go to that one was amazing. But you're playing against Arsenal, and that's a tough side as well. Well,
you mentioned some of the players from the French youth team.
They were there.
Thierry Henry's, Lundbergs, etc. In that game, that Arsenal team was something.
Yeah, they were special. But again, I always say this: when you got Michael in your side, you've always got that little chance, haven't you? I mean, he's that one chance, and he got two, and took them both. The first, which one was the first one?
The first one when he dives in, when it's like Owen's first goal, when it breaks in the box, Babel knocks it down.
That's the one, and then he kind of volleys it in. It's instinctive. Always drops to him or Robbie, doesn't it? Bang, goal. And then the second one, it's funny because if you look at the second one, is it Tony Adams? Kind of shows him onto his left. Like I said, that's fine. I'll take it onto my left and play it in.
You can check out the full thing. It's on theredmentv.com. There'll be a slightly longer segment available on YouTube this week as well for you to check out. But yeah, if you want the full thing, I do go over there, sign up. There's exclusive interviews there with himself, with Chris Kirkland, with Robbie Fowler, with Jurgen Klopp, with Lucas Leiva, tons of Liverpool players, past and present. Yeah, it's very, very good stuff, and it's the perfect time to join up as well as we head towards potentially being champions of the world. So yeah, obviously we've got the final word shows in the midweek, which will be covering the Club World Cup games, so you can get all them in addition to that. So yeah, do it. Anyway, preferred 11s. Jack, is there anyone in particular that you really want to see in this game?
Yeah, I want to see Carter and Chamberlain starting alongside each other.
Go on.
Yeah, I think this is the perfect game for it. I think unleash everything. I think I'm looking at this. They've only scored 9 goals this season. They've conceded 30. It just says to me, go and hit them. Yeah. They're a team low on confidence. As I say, they'll be boosted by the appointment of Nigel Pearson. But at the end of the day, this is the perfect game. We're at home. We've got Ox and Naby in fantastic form. Go for it.
I like it. I like the shout. Dad, anything for you?
Yeah, I'm along the same lines. I think Ox needs a game now. We missed the game the other night. I'd like to see Case have a bit of a run because I still think there's more to come from him. And if we can get him up to his best, then what an asset he's going to be. Yeah. So then we're just talking about who's going to play holding, and it could be anyone. Yeah.
Well, I wonder whether there's just something to this team. Is the team that, just on a flip of that, is this maybe the team that starts the Club World Cup final or third place playoffs, just so we don't jinx that? We reckon we might play like a a rotated side in midweek. So do you go with what he considers to be his best team now, knowing that they're going to have a little bit of rotation in the week and then go full strength again?
Possibly. I'd love to see that in midfield as well. Hendo in the 6, but can Keita play 3 games?
Can Hendo play that much football?
Yeah, exactly.
As well?
So, you know, you can say Milner's had a rest, others have had a rest, and you bring them in with some rotation with the Everton game, Bournemouth, and last night. As you think, you just carry on rotating, to be honest with you, and keep it fresh.
Yeah, playing Origi, Milner at centre forward.
Yeah. Put him in goal.
Origi, Shaqiri. I mean, he could play all of them, couldn't he? It's only Watford, they're bottom of the table, as we keep saying, with 9 points. Why not play fringe players?
It makes you wonder, because he talked about Lallana, didn't he, in the build to Salzburg, and said he could have used him in midweek if he'd wanted to, but there was no need to, so they left him at home to rehabilitate. This is a good game for Adam Lallana, maybe, if we're going to do that, you know, in a similar sort of vein. Maybe you say Naby Keita, good on you, that's 2 games on the bounce, you're in form, you'll be playing the big games coming up, but let's make sure that he is fine in this.
I think the only thing I would say is I think Mane will play, because having left him out last week, I don't think Mane will let him leave him out again.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I think the front 3 plays this one.
Do you?
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm the same as Jack. I go a lot in the front 3. Keep the confidence going. And then I start taking them off.
We played Mane centre forward against these last year, didn't we?
He scored a back heel, didn't he?
Yeah.
I think Origi starts over Firmino. That's what I think. I think that's the one. That's the one change from the front 3. I think you said Firmino looks like he needs a rest. He was brought off early. I think he'll be rested. I think it'll be Origi, Salah, Mane, and that fluid front 3.
I think we'll see Milner come in. It's whether we bring him into the midfield or whether we use this as an opportunity to rest one of the fullbacks. So I think Milner will definitely play, because again he didn't start in midweek, so it makes sense. It's just who needs the rest most out of Robertson, Trent or Henderson.
Well, he tried to rest Trent last weekend, didn't he?
Yeah.
And he was forced on early, so it's whether this is his rest and this is when he gets...
He could always play Ox in the Firmino role, couldn't he? He's tried that before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'd be interested to see the midfield we play against Arsenal in the Cup, the line in the 6, Oxlade-Chamberlain and Keita.
Wow. Curtis Jones, get him in there as well, because why not?
Wow, it could be all sorts.
Could be anything. It could literally be anything. But yeah, it depends. I feel as though we will do this like... It'll be similar to the 2 teams we saw last week, where I don't think we'll see the front... I don't think we'll see the front 3. I think we'll see at least one of them rested. And it makes sense. I think Firmino, again, you disagree with me on the final word, Dad, but I feel that he just... The more minutes we can put back into Firmino's legs, the more I don't see this as a game where he's pivotal to what we need to do.
I don't think anyone is, to be honest. It's that kind of a game.
Yeah.
It's like a free hit, isn't it? You can play, players who just need a few more minutes on the pitch.
Yeah, I think it's that. I think that's what it'll be, won't it, Ross? Is that there's who needs less minutes and who needs more minutes, and you might find it's a bit so like Shaqiri as an example. You know, that could be another one there where you bring. It wouldn't shock me to go back if we went back to the alternate front 3 from the Everton game. Yeah. Shaqiri on the right, Origi forward, and Mane from the left.
I mean, if you think about it, Shaqiri still only had that game really, and if you're going to take him to Qatar, you're going to really want those players to be up to speed as much as possible.
The thing with Firmino is he say about the minutes that he needs, but is he also someone that needs a goal under his belt and a bit of confidence going to Qatar? I agree with him. Maybe he needs a rest, but then it's the beauty of this Liverpool side of he could play anything, within reason at the moment, and I'd be fine with it.
Yeah, well, there's plenty of interesting options for the manager, certainly. Let us know what you would do in your preferred 11 in the comments section underneath. Jack, what do you think it's going to be?
4-0.
Okay, Dad?
3-0.
5-0.
Go on, well, why not? Yeah.
Clean sheets. There are 3 clean sheets.
7-2.
I was going to go 7-2. I thought we're not conceding 2 goals.
Yeah, go ahead. Just out of interest then, the other fixtures being played this weekend. Saturday, 3 o'clock, Chelsea, Bournemouth, Leicester, Norwich. And then you've got Arsenal hosting probably Carlo Ancelotti's Arsenal, maybe. Who knows? Arsenal hosting Manchester City at 4:30.
It'd be even better if it was Arteta's Arsenal.
Ooh, yeah. The Leicester Norwich one is obviously the one that impacts us most at the moment. Out of all that, I'm glad that it's another game that we get ahead of them, because I think obviously with the West Ham game being postponed because of Club World Cup, Dad, they're going to get a chance to get, to gain some points on us.
Play City.
Potentially, yeah. Obviously, that could, but City could just batter them and blow the whole thing wide open, couldn't they? But it's important for us to get those points. You can't see a world where Norwich get any change out of Leicester at all.
They might get a goal, but
I don't even think they'll get
Man
that.
City.
Yeah,
That was at home though.
but Man City are crap, mate.
That was at home as well. Leicester at King Power, and I think they're playing really well.
Pookie stopped scoring goals after that, didn't he? Until last week.
You still haven't put him in his fantasy team and he stopped.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
took him out just at that moment.
Yeah. That's why you're top, John.
Clever. That's why you're top of the league, Dad. Yeah, interesting stuff. But again, I mean, that's the one thing. I don't like early kickoffs particularly. For us, it's probably going to be
Klopp doesn't either.
No, absolutely not. But it's another opportunity for us once again to get the points on the board and just sit back, get a screenshot the table. At 2:30 before Leicester play, and dream about what can be as we head into the rest of the festive period. But yeah, there you go. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know your score predictions, your starting 11 predictions, and make sure you check back on the channel a little bit later on. We're going to be doing we'll be doing a proper starting 11 prediction show. Yeah, wow, words. And there's a whole host of great content as well. But make sure, of course, you go over to the redmentv.com and sign up for the final words for the Club World Cup, and of course for that Emil Heskey interview as well.